We always get questions relative to the Browns' salary cap. So you tweeted this out, and let's take a look at it. So 2023, Browns plus $33 million to the cap. 2024, they're over the cap, $19 million. So I know you've written an article, and we always talk about this. Take us through the Browns' ability to make any type of moves that they need to make, and kind of how they philosophically deal with the cap, and is it sustainable the way they're doing it?
Yeah, so part of this was big news that dropped at the weekend, and obviously coming from Ian Rappaport, it was presented very much as a big positive of, hey, the salary cap's going up next year. It's expected to be over 240 million, which for the average person reading it seemed like good news. It was the NFL bigging it up. What we were actually expecting is something around the region of 256 million next year, sort of for where the cap was trending. This was meant to be the final year in 2023 of dealing with sort of losses due to the COVID years, because they balanced that out over several years rather than taking the hit all in one year for teams. So it was one that we were expected to see a big jump up, and that's not going to be the case. So that's why, if you'd have seen, I was predicting sort of about 6 million over the cap next year. That's shifted because we've had Grant Delpit's extension, and then we've had this move, which has reduced the amount of salary cap space next year. It's not a disaster or anything. It's just, hey, there's probably about another 10 million less that they were probably looking at maybe spending in free agency that they don't have available. But the way they're doing it is they're paying players money, but they're spreading it out over a few years. This isn't quite what we're seeing in the NBA with deferred salaries. They're giving the players money now, but you can just spread it out. So perfect sustainable what the Browns are doing. But the way I model it and look at what they're spending, just with the changes announced over, it's probably about 10 million less they'll spend this offseason. But to be honest, there's not that many guys in free agency they're set to lose. So Darius Smith's the only guy, and we talk about over 5 million going into free agency. But don't be expecting any big splashy signings unless they're going to start getting rid of guys like Chubb, like Bitonio, like Teller, like Njoku. Those are the sort of players with no guaranteed salary. They're not going to have a load of money to go out and sign a load of free agents this year.